I have some animation on my head through the envelope. I'm going to switch to Object Relative Mode with Relational Shape Keys and apply selected shape keys. I'm going to be using these key shapes as my primary shape authoring, and I want them to be applied directly onto the mixer, so I have this preference flagged. I also have flagged relational shape keys so that if I make any adjustments to my original shapes, that they will update on this character here. So with my head selected, I'm going to select the shape keys. Select them here and then right click. If I open up the animation mixer, what's happened is a compound has been created inside of which all of those shapes have been applied. In addition, in my shape weights, I now have a slider for each of these shapes, the last one being the last shape I applied. I can rename these simply by marking the parameters and edit the parameter definition. I'm just going to remove that off the end of it. It's going to do the same with all of these. With that now done, you see I have my animation. I can always right click on here and remove the animation to be able to set my shape keys. If I open up my animation mixer, I can also just at any time drag and drop any shape that I make and put it inside this dialog box. Even the compound I just drag and drop inside here and edit the parameter definition, and I'll just call this compound like so. So now when this is at 0, all of my shapes are off like so. The relational shape keys, as you can see here, is my first one. Let's do the O sound. If I were to make any sort of changes to this, maybe I wasn't quite happy with the shape here, I could do something like just select a range of this. It's going to go into global, and maybe if I were to do something crazy like that, there we go. With the relational shape keys, I have the ability to update my model there. Once I'm happy with this, or if I need to pass this on to somebody else or just the animator, then because they are now instantiated onto the timeline here, what I can do is freeze the modeling construction modes. So you notice here in my shape modeling, if I freeze the modeling, it's going to freeze anything underneath here, including the relations with this, even if I were to just drag this and move it. So now these are frozen. I can actually delete all of these, and yet I still have all of my shapes on here. I still have my shape weights. There we go. Much less costly because they are just envelope clusters. So here are all the clusters that have been assigned, and that's all they are. So I used them as an original reference. I can still continue to add my shapes, and I'm here in shape modeling mode. If I was working on an animated character, which was quite complicated rather than here just the simple head, if I were to go into the various views, let's go to say the front view here, let's frame this up. Here we have the result. Now I'm going to synchronize with the current mode. I'm also going to switch to shaded mode. Go vertical here. Whereas within shape modeling, anytime I'm doing an adjustment to the envelope, I really should go to secondary shape animation, and you notice it's updating right at the top of the stack. Using these modes, if I were in just shape modeling, it doesn't matter where what my envelope is doing, because I'm still going to be having the base shape which I'm going to be working on here. So I can do my shape modeling by simply moving some of these around here, and all the time it's going to update my final result over here. If I turn on proportional modeling, just hold down R, reduce the radius a bit, there we go. I can now do some sort of Spock eyebrow. So let's go back to my camera, and with this all my move components have gone underneath shape modeling. So really it could have done under secondary shape authoring. That's any time you have an envelope and that you want to apply some shapes on top of the envelope, you should switch to secondary shape modeling. And it's just a visual cue to see the final result. So in shape modeling here, I'm going to select my object, shape, save shape key. There we go. It's now added down here inside my shape weights. It has also been added here, and again I'm just going to edit this, and I'll call this Spock. There we go. So I can link expressions as well as the phoneme shapes directly inside here. Replacing shapes is good for creating hybrid shapes and then replacing the original shape. It does not relate to shape modeling. So here we have something like an evil smile. If I were to make some additional changes like this, I could say, ooh, in fact no, that is what I want to be my evil smile. So I would select this and say replace. It's going to look at the cluster that it's in and replace this source with the current cluster as it is at this frame. The reason we get this extra deformation is because the shape weights still have the influence of the additional sliders. So using the hybrid, I created a new shape like so. If I were to say, ooh, that's what I want, and replace that, that's not going to do anything because I would have to create a new shape with those modifications inside it.